Hello, it is 5 p.m. Tuesday afternoon. Raw was last night. I did not watch it last night. I watched it in the morning because that's how I watch stuff that I can watch whenever. Also, I work at night, so you know, whatever. Um, let's get right into it because I think a lot of people were excited for Raw after Night of Champions and how everything ended um, with Obafemi, Jay, Io, Seth. A lot of these dudes are on Raw. Gals as well on Raw. Um, Liv on Raw. Danhausen on Raw. Well, Danhausen's wherever they want Danhausen to be, but you get my drift. Um, so we open the show. Obafemi, obviously. Who else are you gonna start with after winning King of the Ring? Um, comes out to tremendous applause in New Jersey. Um, it was a good little promo until Brock came out, and I don't know about if anyone else noticed, but I feel like I don't know if it was just my audio, but like the wow wow wow, it didn't hit like it usually does. I don't know why. I guess because like after Night of Champions, like everything kind of feels weird. It feels like it almost didn't happen because a lot of the stuff that is going on this show is kind of just continuation from last week, almost as if Night of Champions was like always gonna end the way it did. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously it's scripted and everything, but it's just it didn't feel like Night of Champions fit with the rest of this stuff. Um, but yeah, so Brock comes out and cuts a promo, which I was shocked that Brock was actually gonna speak on the microphone. It was kind of awkward, but I think that was kind of the point. Um, it ends with Brock pretty much saying that Oba's been talking too much smack and kicks him in the nuts. F5 retreats. The usual song and dance from Brock Lesnar. Come out, F5, leave. Um, but Oba gets back up and he pretty much says, SummerSlam. That's where we're gonna have our blow off. They're both 1-1 against each other. I think that it probably would have been better if they didn't have that second match because that second match almost necessitates this third match for SummerSlam, where it's almost like I feel like WWE wanted to have the WrestleMania match, but they also wanted to have the SummerSlam match. So this is how this is how they get it. Um, because mind you, like Oba literally is not even announcing who he wants as his challenger or for the belt. Um, so it's like we're kind of just like putting that on the back burner for 5 weeks and then getting back to it whenever Oba decides. Because what if Oba loses to Brock? Is Oba then gonna say, "Oh, I want my title shot now"? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost a foregone conclusion. I think Oba is gonna win at SummerSlam, but I just don't. I almost wish that Night of Champions was after all this, you know. But yeah, Rey Mysterio, Ethan Page. I like Ethan Page. I like Rey Mysterio. Um, I don't know why, but during this match, I felt like there was a couple times Ethan probably should have been a little bit more physically imposing over Rey. But I understand it's Rey Mysterio. Um, it's gonna be kind of hard to catch him with something that he hasn't seen, and he's used to the whole size thing already. So I like how they mentioned that he is the I think he's the general manager of AAA. So I just find it funny that AAA general manager is out here, putting belts to ass on a weekly basis. It's pretty cool. This was a fun segment. I liked I when during the opening, you see the Street Profits, and then you see Joe Hendry like pop in for like literally like point 0.5 seconds. Like I don't know if he was supposed to come in earlier, but he literally got like point 0.5 seconds on screen in the opening. So I could understand why it would be a little confusing later on in the show when you're like, "What's Joe Hendry doing here?" And they announces the Street Profits as tag team champions. So this leads to a match with Austin Theory, and Austin Theory is, I think, the main character of this Raw here, because there's two or three moments during the show where you kind of see Austin Theory kind of like going through it a bit. He Paul Heyman shows up with Brock. Austin runs up. And he's like, "Yo, I didn't know you were here." He's like, "Oh, I thought you had, I have a match coming. You wanna walk me down to my match vision?" And Paul just kind of tells him to screw off. And it's kind of sad because Austin Theory, I thought, last year when he came back, I thought, even though it was the whole masked man shenanigans, I thought that he was gonna find a stride and kind of have a resurgence here. But I feel like there's a couple characters in the WWE that are kind of like that right now. Like Solo's kind of like that, where Solo just split from the NFTs, or I guess the MFTs split from Solo. Um, and he's kind of trying to figure out where he fits in right now. Um, Austin Theory has this weird dynamic with Maxine. I don't know I guess, what is it? Is it in the next part? No, it's a couple parts. Oh, yeah, it's a couple parts down. But is this weird moment with Maxine where he's just like, "What was all that you were saying to Chad Gable?" And it's just like, bro, we don't even know what their on-screen relationship. I don't know what it is, even if tag partners, manager. What are we doing here? A stable? Like, what do we? Is Austin Theory gonna join uh American Made or whatever, or Team Alpha or whatever they're called? Is he gonna join them? I don't know. He's not in the Vision anymore. The Vision's not even like a thing right now. Really, it's really just Austin and Braun are healthy. Everyone else is injured, um, or excommunicado. So I like the match. I think I think for narrative purposes, if we're doing the whole Austin Theory's down bad thing, I think it makes sense for Austin Theory to lose. But I don't like seeing Austin Theory lose because I want to see him do well. And I think in these positions, he really is a joke. You know what I mean? And I thought that when they brought him back, he was gonna be a little bit more of a serious character. And taking this many L's consistently and having your own stable kind of just like disintegrate around you, it's a very depressing thing to see for Austin Theory. Um, Judgment Day beat down Io Sky. This was an interesting segment to say the least. I My favorite part was the very end of the segment, but obviously Io comes out. I'm the king. I'm the queen. Queen of the ring. Comes out, gets a lot of applause. And then Liv comes out, and Liv's making every excuse in the book. Um, Making every excuse in the book for why she lost. Um, but I kind of said it in my last recap for Night of Champions, but I just don't think Liv ever had a shot at beating Io. Realistically, Io's just too good. And not to say Liv isn't good, but Liv has a completely different skill set than Io has. Like Io is going to beat you in a wrestling match. Like that if you have a wrestling match, Io Sky is going to win. Now, if you make it a little dirty, a little, scrappy, then Liv has wiggle room there to secure the win, kind of like with Charlotte. Um, Kind of like what she tried to do with Io at Night of Champions with the knee. They're really pushing this single leg Boston Crab thing, Walls of Jericho sort of situation. Um, so I mean, it's cool. It gives Liv something to do as champion. It's better than like Jade's reign, where like Jade like didn't really do anything different the whole time. But they name dropped Stephanie Vicaire, which it's been since Mania, since she's been around. Um, I don't know what's going on with that. Um, but apparently I thought she was injured going in. Liv made it sound like she was injured because of something she did, but from my knowledge, Stephanie Vicaire was injured going into WrestleMania anyway. That's why their match was like 6 minutes or something like that. And also, Liv was also had a concussion, which they're not bringing up that. She's not bringing up how Stephanie Vicaire literally bonked her head off Roxanne Perez's and gave them both concussion protocols. But that's neither here nor there. um, Good segment. I liked how she held the Boston Crab for like really long. It actually was like getting a little bit ridiculous how long she was holding it for, and I thought that was memorable about the segment. Jimmy Uso, LA Knight. I don't remember this match very well. I think it's because we had didn't we have this match like a week ago? You know, I thought we had this match a week ago, but maybe there was some sort of schmoz finish, and that's why they're having it again. I don't remember honestly. Um, it was all right. I like LA, and I like seeing Jimmy active because I feel like for a lot of time it's easy for Jimmy to kind of dissipate into the background next to Jay and Roman and stuff because Jimmy's kind of a more grounded character compared to those two. He kind of grounds them a lot more. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yep. Jimmy won. Okay, Jimmy won. I was like, did Jimmy win? Did Jimmy win? Did Jimmy not win? Because I remember Solo coming out, and this is. I mean, I feel like they've been setting this up, but they probably could have handled this a couple weeks ago with Solo. Um, by just sending Jacob over there. I don't know why they sent Jacob over there in the first place. I don't remember. Was it to recruit Solo? I think it was. But I think Solo told him to fuck off. Excuse my language. I think he told him to get out of there, you know? So I think Jacob's going to take it to him in a more physical manner on Friday, which would be interesting to see. Roxanne Perez versus Maxine Dupree. I don't like Maxine Dupree that much. I like Raquel Rodriguez a lot though. I just think it's a weird spot to be in for Maxine because you have this thing going on with Chad, and I think it's really easy for Maxine to be seen as an unlikable character, in contrast to what Chad Gable's character is right now, which is a very like down to earth, wholesome, respectful dude, you know. And he did come out and he gave that big apology to all of Team Alpha, American Made, whatever. I forgot what they're called. Is it American Made? I think it's American Made. But excuse me. I thought she was a flaming bitch last week. Honestly, after Chad gave that heartfelt apology, and even Otis was. I mean, I think she should have let Otis accept the apology because I mean it was really up to each individual member. Um, and I don't think Chad was asking even for entry back in. I think he was really just asking for forgiveness, and in that case, I don't see why it's an issue for Otis to be cool with Chad, or for Tazawa to be cool with Chad, and for Maxine to not be cool with Chad. I don't know why that's a big issue, especially if he's not even in the faction anymore, and he's doing this whole comeback tour thing. I don't remember how this match ended, to be honest with you. I know Maxine lost, um, and then Austin Theory pulls up and he's like, "What was that you said to Chad?" And it's such a weird angle for me because we see Austin Theory obviously in close proximity to Maxine a lot, but we don't ever really particularly hear about what they're talking about. So that I don't know. You know what I mean? Especially with her rejecting Chad again, not like a rejection, but like just rejecting his straightforward apology sort of deal. It really makes you ask questions about what the dynamic between Austin Theory and Maxine even is. Um, because it's not like they spell it out or even give you really any hints to what could be going on there other than the fact that you just see Austin Theory around Maxine talking a lot, you know? So I think that they could have worked on that better if they're going to go for the whole Austin's getting territorial or whatever. I don't know what's going on. Um, I think they could have worked on that a lot better, and I probably would have been a little bit more engaged in what's going on here. But I'm not super because I don't know. I'm engaged in what Austin Theory's doing. I'm not super engaged in what Austin's doing with Maxine because I don't know what is even going on, and they haven't really explained it very much. This was a great match. I don't know. Danhausen came out. It was a good match. Chad Gable always has great matches. I think Chad Gable's weakest point, if I had to pick the absolute like shatter point of Chad Gable's character, it is his absolute just lack of charisma. Like he's a good guy. He's respectable and um he's very diligent. But I think that when it comes to the man, okay, I think he's kind of corny, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but it plays good contrast in the fact that he's such an amazing performer, um, and also that he's able to get over that that kind of straightforward milk toast dude. Because really, all Chad Gable is the best wrestler on the planet. Like that's really it. Like he really is like the modern he really is like the modern day like Kurt Angle level type of dude because he does sometimes do goofy shit. I mean, he's been running around in Mexico with a fucking mask on, telling himself El Grande Americano, and then he just had a mirror match against El Grande Americano. It's like you don't really get more wrestling than that. You know what I mean? So I respect Chad Gable for what he is in WWE because it's kind of an important spot. You know, you need a guy who's wrestling is solid like this and that can also do stuff like El Grande Americano because that I think we can all agree that that made his career better and it also made Ludwig's career um period because Ludwig he's just tied to Gunther for so long. And then when he wasn't with Gunther, it was kind of like, what is he, what is he doing? You know what I mean? And he was able to find, even though it was someone else's gimmick, he ran with it. So, and they really do respect him down in Mexico. So, oh yeah, then the $100,000, whatever. I'm so sick of. I don't. I understand why Danhausen's around on a weekly basis on like a Monday Night Raw. I'm fine with Danhausen. It's when Danhausen's on like the big shows, and I'm like, why are we? You know what I mean? Like, but like on Raw, like this was funny. This was absolutely hilarious, and I thought that the little thing where he pulls up to his laboratory and it's like trashed because the Judgment Day want their money back. I thought that was funny as well. So it's serviceable for on a weekly basis, but the longer Danhausen's around, the easier it is for me to say I'm very annoyed by his presence. So, but this was funny. Steal the jersey back. It's kind of funny. And then the finale. How am I doing on time? Oh, okay, I got like just enough time. This was great. This spelled out exactly what I was saying about the steel cage match and why it was kind of necessary for Seth. Um, it's because he needs to go fight Roman. You know, the reality is there's only one opponent for Seth Rollins at any given time. Um, and it's Roman Reigns. These dudes should be feuding until the fucking cold death of the universe. You know what I mean? Like that's just how tied together these dudes are, and it's always going to be money every single time. And I thought that this was definitely the highlight of the entire show was this this promo back and forth. Even though it didn't end in a schmaz or whatever, I don't like it when it does that. But I think it's really easy for creative to just kind of end things in a schmaz. I think that these two displayed respect for each other. Um, and that's it. Yeah, it was a great promo. It was respectful and it was true. It was honest to both the characters, and it makes sense that they're fighting at SummerSlam because that is Seth's belt. You know, he did get injured, he did have to vacate, and CM Punk had it, and now Roman has it. But Seth still, I don't think Seth got his rematch. So I mean, if we're doing rematch clauses, which we're not, but logically you would say, well, who's next in line? It's Seth Rollins. And you can say, oh, Seth hasn't done anything, but Seth was had to clean up that whole mess. You know, Seth had to clean up all that. I think that they could have let it go, but I think that it would have been a missed opportunity for Braun Breaker and the rest of the Vision to not have a conclusion to that, because then all that Vision energy kind of dissipates, which is what it's doing now with Paul Heyman kind of telling Austin Theory, you know, take a hike sort of deal, and with Braun being the last standing member, Logan being on the shelf. I don't think that we're gonna see the Vision again. I think it's done. I think it's over. And I think that the steel cage match was probably the best way to do it, because you have the two main leaders of the Vision going off against each other. Um, it's not like there was anything at stake. It was a grudge match really between the two. So I think it works for that. And now that Seth has some closure with the Vision situation, he can now move back to his main target, which is always going to be Roman Reigns. Always, always, always. Whether it's the bloodline stuff, whether it's helping Cody, whether it's any of that, um, the wise man stuff, everything that Seth ever does for all of time has always been to get at Roman Reigns, you know, or CM Punk. CM Punk, but CM Punk's not around. And also, I don't think you could argue that they have history, but I don't think that CM Punk and Seth's history goes as far as Roman and Seth's history, because whereas CM Punk was on a much higher level in the company when he brought the Shield in, those guys were coming in together. So when you go through their history, it lines up a lot better. They have more, um, what do you call it? They have more big moments together that mean a lot mutually to both of them. With the Shield and um, the breakup and the WrestleManias, and you know it all just lines up a lot better than it would if CM Punk was still holding the belt right now. So I like this. I like this better. And plus, he did have to vacate it, so it's not even like he necessarily has a challenge. It's not even like he really has a person to go after. It really is whoever has the belt right now. So as long as Roman has the belt, I think it'll always be a good decision to put Seth up against him, because the stakes will always be higher because of the championship. They're always going to be higher regardless because of the history between them. But I think that the belt, SummerSlam, history, it works. I'm excited for this match in particular. I'm also excited for Obafemi Brock. Um, I think there was another match that was set for SummerSlam, but I don't remember what it. Oh, Io and Liv. I'm excited for it because I feel like they're probably gonna take the belt off Liv at SummerSlam. But that's how I feel about it. Um, I don't really have an outro, so that's just gonna be it. Um, I'll be back probably tomorrow after I watch NXT, or Friday, um, after SmackDown, because I don't work Friday, so I could actually get that video out that night. Later.